Greetings to all viewers, this is Sonam Singh. In this video, we will discuss the narration technique. At very first, let's see the meaning of narration technique. Giving a narration is a necessary technique in the teaching of social science. A narration is also called statement or teacher's self-statement. The purpose of giving a narration is to make a mental picture so that students can understand the content completely. According to Professor Saxena, giving a narration is an art. In order to gain command over this art, a teacher has to take the help of his imaginative power so as to narrate an object or occurrence with such zeal and effectiveness that all students of the class can learn it easily. In other words, by a narration, the mental pictures of objects and occurrences are so presented to students that they understand the content well. After introduction, the narration technique is used at some specific places in order to expound them. The technique is hardly used in science and mathematics, while it is very useful in social subjects such as history, geography, civics and economics, etc. Characteristics of narration technique. Following are the chief characteristics of the narration technique. Point number 1, the use of narration technique imparts so much knowledge to students that they do not need to read any books separately. Point number 2, in the narration technique, a teacher presents before students the details, therefore the narration given through this technique has permanent effect on students' mind. Point number 3, in the narration technique, all aspects of the content are discussed in order to understand it fully. Point number 4, by this method, students are able to gain necessary knowledge in less time as compared to reading books. Point number 5, by the narration method, students are able to gain knowledge in an interesting and economical way. Point number 6, an effectively presented narration is helpful to cultivate the ability of understanding the content. Point number 7, the narration technique plays an important role in creating curiosity in students. Point number 8, the narration technique plays an important role in the cultivation of logic power. Now we'll see the limitations of narration technique. Point number 1, the use of narration technique makes a teacher more active while students become mere listeners. Point number 2, if the language of the narration is not interesting, comprehensible, correct and suitable, then the importance of the narration technique is gradually reduced. Point number 3, the narration technique should not be used excessively, else a topic becomes uninteresting. Point number 4, it becomes quite difficult for a teacher to determine about the relevance and sufficiency of a narration. Point number 5, in order to use the narration technique, it is necessary for a teacher to possess specialization, else each teacher cannot present a narration in a logical and psychological sequence. Point number 6, it is necessary to make a narration effective that it is presented in an interesting, comprehensible style. Precautions in using narration technique. A teacher should exercise the following precautions while using the narration technique, keeping in view the above limitations. Point number 1. A narration should be only as much as may be needed. It should be neither too long nor too short. A teacher should exercise patience and self-confidence. Point number 3. An effort should be made to arouse imaginative power of student by a narration. Point number 4. A teacher should use his imagination in order to make his narration interesting and effective. Point number 5. It should be kept in view while giving a narration that it should be relevant to the topic and should be presented before students at a rate which is commensurate with the rate of learning of student. Point number 6. A teacher should pay attention on the voice, pronunciation, ascending and descending speech and should express suitable expressions with minor and true role play in order to make a narration lively. Point number 7. There should not be any linguistic or factual error in a narration. Point number 8. At the time of giving a narration, suitable audiovisual aids and other techniques can be used. Point number 9. A narration should commence gradually and should reach the climax, and curiosity and interest of students should be maintained in the things to be told still. Point number 10. An effective narration makes such a picture in students' mind by which their emotions are aroused, just like when they watch a real occurrence.